The quantum arrays aboard the UES Hyperion hummed with an unsettling dissonance as Commander Nadia Patel reviewed the communication logs for the 13th time. Something wasn't right with the transmissions from the Centauri border stations, and her 2 decades of experience in cryptographic analysis screamed that they were missing something crucial. "Run it again, Oliver," she commanded, and her senior analyst nodded, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. The recordings showed a Centauri warship opening fire on an Earth research station near the Proxima border. The attack had pushed humanity and the Centauri Alliance to the brink of their first interstellar conflict. "Stop," Nadia leaned forward, her dark eyes narrowing at a subtle distortion in the footage. "There, that interference pattern doesn't match known Centauri weapons signatures." She turned to her tactical officer, Lieutenant James Hudson. "What do you make of it?" Hudson studied the footage, his weathered face creased in concentration. Could be artifacts from radiation interference, but he manipulated the controls, enhancing the section. The dispersal pattern is too uniform, too perfect. The ship's AI, Arya, chimed in with its analytical perspective. "Commander, I've detected an underlying code structure in the transmission that doesn't conform to either human or Centauri protocols." Nadia's suspicions deepened. The Centauri were proud and territorial, but they weren't foolish. An unprovoked attack on a research station offered no tactical advantage and risked a war they couldn't afford, especially with their ongoing resource crisis in the Rigel sector. "Commander," Lieutenant Zara Wung burst into the command center, her usually composed demeanor shattered. "The Centauri are claiming we attacked their colony on Vega III yesterday. They have footage." Nadia felt her blood run cold. "That's impossible. We haven't had ships in that sector for months." She accessed the incoming transmission, watching as Earth fleet vessels supposedly launched a precision strike against Centauri settlements. The footage looked flawless, except she knew with absolute certainty that no such attack had been authorized. "Two false flags," Hudson muttered. "Someone wants this war badly." Nadia paced the command deck, her mind racing through possibilities. "Arya, cross-reference all unusual activity in neutral territories over the past 3 months. Focus on ships with unregistered signatures or anomalous energy readings." As the AI processed the request, Admiral Victor Raman's face appeared on the main screen. His expression was grave. "Commander Patel, all Earth fleet vessels are hereby ordered to battle stations. The Centauri attack cannot go unanswered." "Admiral, wait," Nadia stepped forward. "We've found irregularities in the attack footage. Something isn't right." "Your concerns are noted, Commander, but we don't have time for speculation. The Centauri are mobilizing their fleet. All ships are to assume defensive positions along the Arcturus line." Raman out. The screen went dark, leaving Nadia and her crew in stunned silence. They had perhaps 72 hours before the first shots of a real war would be fired. "Commander," Arya's voice was urgent. "Analysis complete. I've detected a pattern of unusual energy signatures in the Perseus void. The readings don't match any known species technology." Nadia studied the data scrolling across her screen. The void was a region of space avoided by most ships due to its intense gravitational distortions, perfect for hiding something you didn't want found. "Oliver, what's the status of our new stealth systems?" Her analyst straightened. "The quantum dampeners are fully operational. We could slip past most detection grids." "Most" being the operative word, Hudson added. Nadia made her decision. "Plot a course to these coordinates in the Perseus void, maximum stealth protocols." She turned to face her crew. "What we discovered here, someone is pushing both sides toward war. If we can find proof, maybe we can stop this before it starts." "Commander," Hudson's voice was careful. "These orders directly contradict Admiral Raman's directive to join the defensive line." "Noted, Lieutenant. Anyone who wishes to officially register an objection may do so now." She looked at each of them in turn. The command center remained silent. "Arya, send a delayed transmission to Admiral Raman. Include all our findings so far. Set delivery for 12 hours from now." She squared her shoulders. "Helm, execute course for the Perseus void." The Hyperion slipped away from the gathering battle fleet, its advanced stealth systems masking their departure as they headed toward the unknown. As they traveled, Nadia's team worked tirelessly, analyzing every scrap of data they could gather. 20 hours later, they approached the coordinates in the Perseus void. The ship's sensors struggled against the region's natural interference, but something was definitely there. Multiple structures detected, Hudson reported. Configuration unknown, definitely not Centauri or human design. Through the view screen, massive shapes emerged from the swirling gravitational distortions. A space station unlike anything Nadia had ever seen, its architecture defying conventional physics, surrounded by smaller vessels of similar alien design. Life signs, Nadia asked. Confirmed multiple species, some human readings, some Centauri, and Hudson frowned. Others I can't identify. Commander, Oliver's voice was tight with alarm. We're being scanned. It's cutting through our stealth field like it isn't even there. Before Nadia could respond, a massive energy surge erupted from the station. The Hyperion shuddered as an immobilization field locked onto the ship, leaving them trapped and vulnerable before the mysterious installation. All systems failing, Hudson reported calmly, though his hands were clenched tight. Propulsion offline, weapons offline. A transmission cut through their communications blackout. On the main screen appeared a being that seemed to shift between solid and energy states, its form barely containable by human perception. Earth vessel, it spoke in perfect standard, its voice resonating directly in their minds. Your interference was predicted. Humanity's curiosity is a constant across all timelines we have observed. Nadia stood unflinching before the ethereal being on the screen, her mind racing to process its impossible form. Who are you? She demanded. Why are you manipulating our species into war? The entity's form rippled, patterns of light cascading through its semi-transparent body. We are the archivists, we observe, we test, we preserve. Its voice echoed in their minds like crystal chimes. Your species and the Centauri stand at a crossroads, only the worthy may proceed. Worthy of what? Hudson asked, his hand unconsciously moving toward his sidearm. Of joining the galactic community, the being replied, of expansion, of evolution. Its form shifted again, displaying images of countless civilizations rising and falling. The strong survive, the weak perish, this is the way of the universe. Nadia felt her anger rising. You're deliberately pushing us into a war that could kill billions just to test us. Your understanding is incomplete, the archivist responded. Your vessel will remain here until events proceed as calculated. Your absence will not significantly alter the probability matrix. The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving the bridge in tense silence. Nadia turned to her crew. Options. Oliver was already working at his console. The immobilization field operates on quantum principles I've never seen before, but there's something familiar about the base code structure. Familiar how? Nadia pressed. It's like Oliver's fingers flew across the holographic interface. It's like they built it using fragments of both human and Centauri technology, but evolved far beyond our current capabilities. Commander, Arya interrupted, I'm detecting unusual activity in the station's power grid. Regular fluctuations like they're running multiple large-scale simulations. They're not just watching us, Hudson realized. They're running probability scenarios testing different outcomes. Nadia moved to the tactical station, studying the station's layout. If they're using our technology as a base, there might be weaknesses we can exploit. Arya analyzed those power fluctuations. Look for patterns that match known human or Centauri systems. As the AI worked, Nadia's thoughts turned to the wider conflict. The Earth fleet and Centauri armada would be closing in on each other now, each side convinced of the other's treachery. All orchestrated by beings who viewed their civilizations as lab specimens to be tested and judged. Commander, Zara called out, I'm picking up something strange. Quantum echoes like ghost signals bouncing back from somewhere else. Other timelines, Oliver breathed. They're not just running simulations. They're somehow observing parallel realities, seeing how different versions of this conflict play out. A cold realization settled over Nadia. They've done this before, multiple times, to us, to the Centauri, to who knows how many other species. She straightened. We need to contact the Centauri. How? Hudson asked. We're trapped, and even if we weren't, they'd shoot first and ask questions never. Arya, Nadia called, those power fluctuations in their systems. Could we use them to piggyback a signal, something subtle enough to slip through? The AI was silent for a moment, processing. Theoretically possible. During peak fluctuation periods, their containment field microscopic instabilities. A tightly focused quantum burst might slip through. But we'd need a receiver, Oliver added. Someone out there looking for exactly the right kind of signal. Nadia smiled grimly. If the archivists have been manipulating both sides, we might not be the only ones who notice something wrong. The Centauri are master engineers. They might have their own investigators out here. For the next 12 hours, they worked tirelessly. Oliver and Arya refined their understanding of the station's power cycles, while Zara crafted a message that would be recognizable to Centauri systems but meaningless to the archivist's sensors. Ready, Oliver announced finally. Next major fluctuation in 30 seconds. Send it, Nadia ordered. Keep it repeating. If there's anyone out there looking for answers like we are, let's help them find us. They waited in tense silence, watching the void around them. Hours passed with no response until finally their sensors detected something, a ghost of a signal almost lost in the gravitational distortions. Centauri encryption, Zara confirmed, working to decode it. It's, yes, response from the CAS Stormweaver. They've been tracking similar anomalies in their own systems. The message was brief but clear. Humans, we see the pattern too. The war is built on lies. Can you break free? Now we just need to figure out how to get out of this trap, Hudson muttered. Actually, Oliver said slowly, I might have something. The archivists built their systems using evolved versions of our technology, right? What if we could use that against them? He brought up a complex diagram on the main screen. Their containment field is incredibly advanced, but at its core, it still operates on principles similar to our quantum dampeners. And we know how to break those, Nadia finished, because we built them. She turned to her tactical officer. Hudson, if we inverted our stealth system's field generation and pulsed it at maximum power, we might be able to create a resonance cascade in their containment field, Hudson nodded. It would only give us a split second, but that's all we need. Nadia took her command chair. Arya, coordinate with the Stormweaver, time our break precisely with their arrival. We'll only get one shot at this. The next few hours were a blur of preparation. Every system on the Hyperion was reconfigured, power rerouted to the stealth systems. One mistake would either leave them helpless or tear the ship apart. Stormweaver signals ready, Zara reported. They're in position. Nadia took a deep breath. Begin countdown, all power to field inversion on my mark. She watched the energy readings climb, the ship's systems straining at their limits. Mark. The Hyperion shuddered violently as its inverted stealth field collided with the Archivist's containment system. Alarms blared across every deck as the ship's structural integrity strained against forces it was never designed to withstand. Field resonance at critical levels, Arya reported, its usually calm voice tinged with urgency. Hull stress exceeding safety parameters. Hold together, Nadia whispered both to her ship and her crew. Just a few more seconds. Through the view screen, space itself seemed to ripple and distort as the two quantum fields fought for dominance. Then, precisely on schedule, the Centauri vessel Stormweaver decloaked, its distinctive crystalline hull gleaming as it fired a concentrated burst of tachyon particles directly at the point where the fields intersected. The effect was instantaneous. A cascade of quantum disruptions shattered the containment field, creating a brief but crucial window of opportunity. Now, Nadia commanded, all power to engines. The Hyperion lurched forward, breaking free of the Archivist's trap. Behind them, the massive alien station pulsed with angry energy as defense systems activated and pursuit vessels began launching. Incoming transmission from the Stormweaver, Zara announced. The face that appeared on their screen was distinctively Centauri, crystalline patterns flowing beneath translucent skin, eyes that shifted color with their emotions. I am First Speaker Ven, the Centauri commander introduced himself. We should move quickly. The archivists will not allow their specimens to escape so easily. Agreed, Nadia replied. We need to reach safe distance to transmit our evidence to both our governments before. Commander, Hudson's warning came just as multiple energy signatures burst into existence around them. Archivist vessels emerging from quantum space. The alien ships were unlike anything in either human or Centauri records, organic shapes that seemed to defy physics, trailing streams of quantum energy as they moved to surround the fleeing vessels. Your interference exceeds acceptable parameters, the same archivist voice from before echoed through both ships' communications. The test must proceed as designed. First Speaker, Nadia called to their new ally. Can your ship's crystal matrix handle another tachyon burst? Not safely, Ven replied, understanding her intent immediately. but these are not safe times, synchronizing with your systems now. The pursuing archivist vessels opened fire, their weapons releasing bursts of concentrated probability waves that threatened to erase their targets from existence itself. The Hyperion and Stormweaver wove through the assault in perfect coordination, their crews working together as if they'd trained for years. Arya, upload everything we've discovered about their technology to the Stormweaver, Nadia ordered. First speaker, we need to get this evidence out, even if we don't make it. We will make it, Commander, Ven interrupted. My engineers have analyzed your quantum field modifications. If we combine them with our crystal technology's resonance properties, we could create a cascading disruption through their entire local network, Oliver finished, already working with his Centauri counterparts through the shared data link. Beautiful, Nadia smiled. They built their systems on fragments of both our technologies. Let's show them why that was a mistake. The next few minutes were chaos as the two ships executed their desperate plan. The Hyperion's modified stealth systems pulsed in harmony with the Stormweaver's crystal matrix, creating expanding waves of quantum disruption that interfered with the Archivist's probability-based weapons. They're adapting, Hudson reported tensely, reconfiguring their attack patterns. Of course they are, Nadia replied. They've been studying both our species for who knows how long. They know how we think, how we fight. Then we must do what they would not expect, Ven suggested. Something that defies their probability calculations. Nadia studied the tactical display, watching the Archivist vessels move with disturbing precision. They're running battle simulations, calculating every possible move we could make. Her eyes narrowed. But what if we don't make a move at all? Commander, Hudson turned to her in confusion. They're predicting our escape vectors, planning for every rational choice we might make. She opened the channel to the Stormweaver. First speaker, how confident are you in your ship's structural integrity? The Centauri commander's color-shifting eyes sparkled with understanding. Ah, you suggest we choose an irrational option, one with an astronomically low probability of success. Exactly, Arya, plot a course directly into the gravity well of that pulsar. She pointed to a distant stellar object, its lethal radiation barely contained by the surrounding space, right to the edge of its event horizon. Commander, Arya's voice held a note of concern. The probability of surviving such a maneuver is. Don't tell me the odds, Nadia interrupted. They're counting on us making choices based on probability, so let's do something statistically insane. The Stormweaver's crystalline hull chimed with what sounded almost like laughter. My crew is ready, Commander. Let us show these archivists that not all variables can be calculated. As one, the human and Centauri ships turned and dove toward the pulsar, their engines straining against its gravitational pull. Behind them, the archivist vessels hesitated for a crucial moment, their probability-based tactical systems struggling to compute the seemingly suicidal maneuver. Energy buildup in their fleet, Hudson reported. They're preparing something big. Hold course, Nadia commanded. First speaker, status of the quantum cascade. Charging, Ven replied. We will have one chance precisely when the pulsar's radiation spikes. The archivists are firing, Zara's hands flew across her console. Massive probability wave approaching. Now Nadia and Ven ordered simultaneously. The combined power of human quantum technology and Centauri crystal engineering erupted from both ships just as the pulsar released a devastating burst of radiation. The forces collided with the archivist's probability weapon, creating a chain reaction that rippled through the quantum substrate of space itself. For a moment, reality seemed to hold its breath. When reality reasserted itself, the Hyperion and Stormweaver found themselves tumbling through normal space, their systems struggling to recover from the tremendous forces they'd just endured. The archivist vessels were nowhere to be seen. Damage report, Nadia called out, pulling herself back into her command chair. Hull integrity at 60%, Arya responded. Multiple systems offline, but we're alive, Commander. The pulsar's radiation should have killed us, Oliver said, checking his readings in disbelief. The probability wave from the archivist's weapon should have erased us from existence, but somehow. The impossible became possible. Ven's voice came through their still-functioning comm system. We created a quantum state they couldn't predict, couldn't control. Their own technology turned against them. Where are we? Nadia asked, studying the unfamiliar star patterns on their view screen. Approximately 20 light-years from our previous position, Arya calculated. The quantum cascade seems to have created a temporary wormhole effect. Commander, Zara interrupted urgently, I'm picking up emergency broadcasts, the Earth Fleet and Centauri Armada. They're engaged in their first skirmishes. The war has begun. Nadia's blood ran cold. They had the proof to stop this conflict, but would they be able to deliver it in time? How long until full-scale battle commences? Based on current fleet movements, Hudson analyzed, less than 6 hours until the main forces make contact. First speaker, Nadia opened the channel to the Stormweaver. Our ships are damaged and we're too far to reach either fleet in time. Ideas. Perhaps, Ven replied thoughtfully, we don't need to reach them physically. The quantum entanglement effect from our escape. My scientists believe it's still active on a subatomic level between our vessels. Could we use that to boost a transmission signal? Oliver asked, catching on to the idea. Better, Ven's color-shifting eyes pulsed with excitement. We could use it to create a quantum broadcast that would be instantly received by every ship in both fleets simultaneously. No delay, no chance for interference. But our evidence, Hudson pointed out, the data proving the archivist's manipulation, it's too complex to transmit that way. Then we don't send the data, Nadia decided. We show them. She turned to her crew. Arya, can you use the residual quantum effect to create a holographic link to every ship in both fleets? Theoretically possible, the AI confirmed, but it would require channeling all our remaining power. Life support would be minimal. Do it, Nadia ordered. She opened a channel to the Stormweaver. First speaker, I suggest we give our peoples a demonstration of unity they can't ignore. Ven's crystalline features arranged themselves in what she now recognized as a smile. Indeed, Commander, let us show them that humans and Centauri can stand together. The next hour was a blur of preparation as both crews worked to modify their quantum communications arrays. The residual entanglement from their encounter with the archivists proved to be the key, allowing them to create a network that would bypass normal spacetime limitations. Ready, Arya announced finally. Quantum network established. All ships in both fleets are linked. Nadia took a deep breath and activated the broadcast. Immediately, her image and Ven's appeared side by side on every bridge of every ship in both approaching armadas. This is Commander Nadia Patel of the Earth vessel Hyperion, she began, her voice clear and strong. And first speaker Ven of the Centauri ship Stormweaver. We have discovered evidence of a manipulation that threatens both our species. Together, they laid out everything they'd learned about the archivists and their tests, their proof reinforced by the very technology they were using to broadcast technology that shouldn't have been possible without the quantum entanglement created during their escape. Even now, Ven continued, we stand together on ships that should be enemies, using technology born from the cooperation of our peoples. The archivists believed they could calculate every possibility, predict every outcome. They failed to account for one crucial variable. Free will, Nadia finished. The ability to choose a different path, to defy the probable in favor of the possible. They tried to force us into conflict because they fear what we might become if we work together. As if to punctuate their words, sensors on both fleets suddenly detected massive energy signatures. The archivist vessels had caught up to them. You exceed your parameters, the familiar ethereal voice echoed through all ships simultaneously. The test must proceed. No, Nadia responded firmly. We reject your test, we reject your authority to judge us. And we choose our own path, Ven added. The archivist ships opened fire, their probability weapons lancing out toward the damaged Hyperion and Stormweaver. But instead of finding two vulnerable targets, they met something else entirely. Ships from both fleets, human and Centauri alike, had broken formation, moving to surround and protect the two vessels that had exposed the truth. Weapons that moments ago had been aimed at each other now turned in unison toward the real threat. Impossible, the archivist voice wavered for the first time. The probability matrices cannot account for unity, Nadia declared. Cannot calculate the strength of trust, of cooperation, of choosing to believe in something better. The combined forces of two civilizations that should have been at war awaited their next order. Two peoples who had nearly been manipulated into destroying each other now stood ready to fight side by side. The void between the fleets erupted with quantum energy as the archivists launched their full assault. Their ships, Organic mechanical hybrids that defied conventional physics moved with impossible precision, each action calculated to maximize probability of success. But they faced something their calculations couldn't quantify: two species united fighting as one. All ships execute pattern Delta, Nadia commanded, her voice carrying across the quantum network to every vessel in the combined fleet. The human ships moved in perfect synchronization, their formations creating gaps that the Centauri vessels filled with devastating efficiency. Your resistance is futile, the archivist voice resonated through all ships. We have guided the evolution of species for millennia. We have overseen the rise and fall of civilizations. You cannot comprehend the scope of our purpose. Actually, Ven responded, his crystalline features hardening, I believe we understand perfectly. You fear what you cannot control. As if to prove his point, the combined fleet executed another seamless maneuver. Human quantum shielding technology merged with Centauri crystal resonance weapons, creating effects that shouldn't have been possible. Every shot fired, every defensive pattern formed, represented thousands of years of separate military evolutions suddenly working in harmony. Oliver, Nadia called to her analyst, what are you seeing in their attack patterns? They're adapting but slowly, he replied, studying the tactical data. Their responses are becoming more erratic. It's like their probability engines can't process what we're doing. Because we're not acting as separate species anymore, Hudson realized. Their whole system is based on calculating how humans would react, how Centauri would react, but not how we react together. Arya, Nadia commanded, analyze their ship movements, find the pattern. Pattern identified, the AI responded after a moment. Their vessels move in perfect mathematical harmony, each action precisely calculated to maintain optimal probability outcomes. Too perfect, Ven added, catching Nadia's thought, too rigid. Nadia smiled grimly. Exactly, their strength is their weakness, they can't adapt to true chaos, true improvisation. She opened the fleet-wide channel again. All ships switch to randomized attack patterns, don't think, don't calculate, just act. The effect was immediate. The combined fleet broke into seemingly chaotic movements, each ship acting on instinct and trust rather than careful planning. Human vessels executed Centauri attack patterns while Centauri ships adopted human defensive formations, creating a swirling dance of unpredictability. The archivist ships faltered, their perfect formations disrupting as their probability engines failed to compute the impossible scenarios unfolding before them. You must not disrupt the natural order, the archivist voice insisted, but there was something new in its tone, uncertainty. Species must be tested, must be guided, must be controlled. No, Nadia declared firmly. Species must be free to choose their own path, to make their own mistakes and learn from them, to surprise even themselves with what they can achieve. As if emphasizing her point, the Hyperion and Stormweaver moved in perfect sync, their damaged systems somehow complementing each other. The quantum entanglement that had allowed their escape now linked them on a deeper level, allowing them to act as one vessel with the strengths of both species. Final warning, the archivist voice commanded. Return to your designated conflict parameters or face extinction. The response came not from Nadia or Ven, but from every ship in both fleets simultaneously. No. What followed was beyond description in any human or Centauri language. The archivist ships launched a reality-warping attack designed to erase probabilities themselves, to rewrite the very fabric of spacetime back to their preferred outcome. But they encountered something stronger than probability, possibility. The combined fleet didn't fight the archivist's attempt to rewrite reality. Instead, they embraced the chaos, each ship acting in ways that defied prediction, creating new possibilities faster than the archivists could calculate them. The quantum fabric of space itself seemed to shudder as the archivist's rigid order collided with the infinite possibilities of free will. Their ships began to fade, their probability-based existence unable to maintain coherence in a reality that no longer followed their rules. You cannot, the archivist voice began to fragment. The calculations, impossible. Not impossible, Nadia corrected, just improbable, and that's what makes it beautiful. The archivist vessels vanished completely, their rigid framework of reality unable to exist in a universe that had embraced chaos and cooperation. In their place remained only the combined fleet of two species that should have been at war, but had chosen a different path. Hours later, Nadia stood on the Hyperion's observation deck, watching as human and Centauri ships conducted joint repair operations. Beside her, Ven's crystalline form caught the light of distant stars. The archivists will return, the first speaker noted. Their kind always does. Yes, Nadia agreed, but next time they won't find two separate species to manipulate, they'll find us standing together. An improbable outcome, Ven's colors shifted in amusement. The best ones usually are, Nadia smiled. They tried to test our species to judge whether we were worthy of advancement. In the end, we proved something far more important. And what is that, commanders? That the true measure of advancement isn't how well we can fight. She looked out at the combined fleet, at humans and Centauri working side by side, but how well we can work together. As if in response, a quantum ripple passed through space, an echo of the archivist's departure or perhaps a signal to others of their kind. But this time it carried a different message. A warning that in this sector of space, probability had met its match in possibility, and two species had chosen to defy the odds together.